Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. If you've been having a hard time recently manifesting your desires, if you've been having a hard time being where you know you could be, then please listen very carefully because I'm about to break down all of the energetics of this universe, the law of attraction. My name is Derrick. I am a hypnotherapist, researcher, and instructor, and I'm glad that you are here on the channel. So let's get right into this. The law of attraction, the universe, all of the energetics behind that. And maybe you can see things in your own life as I start breaking this stuff down that will really give you some good insight into where it is that you want to be and where you know you can be. So, starting off, first thing, you are source energy slash God slash whatever you want to call that omnipotent force, right? So we're all made up of source energy. We're all links in that chain. It's just like this mandala. We're all one of these little beads in the chain. We all make up this. That's the collective, right? So the thing about all of this is we all come together to complete that cohesive whole, which is the collective. We all are very unique players in this. We all have unique textures, colors, ways of being, right? We're all a unique component of that collective consciousness. So you are source fractioned off, a piece of source energy split off, which is you. So you are pure divinity. And this time space reality that we call life on planet Earth, this is an expansion process. We are here to expand as individuals and as the collective. Everything that you personally do expands all of us. Everything that I personally do expands all of us. It can't not. We are all very interconnected. We have our own harmonic signatures that are unique to us, but we're all part of this whole, the collective. So when you are in a position, let's say a friend of yours calls and you give them some advice and you see that they really took that advice to heart and they did whatever you suggested, that's going to give you this really strong sense of accomplishment or joy or what have you. And that's because of that expansion process. You assisted that person in expanding that expanded you, right? So our intentions are very, very powerful. Our intentions are the most powerful thing. Our intentions are so far expanded beyond just one thing. There's so many different things that are at play. So it's never just about that one thing. There's going to be this ripple effect that goes out into the cosmos, every single thing that you do. We can't escape that, right? And you think about the butterfly effect, right? Where a butterfly flaps its wings all the way across the world and it creates a hurricane. That's this interconnected nature of energy. That's the interconnected nature of what we are a part of. So when you set an intention and you raise the frequency on that intention, that's even more powerful. That has an even bigger ripple effect out beyond. And your overall frequency, 99.99% of the time, your reality is a reflection of that frequency that you are sending out, that energy behind the things that you say or that you do. Intention. Everyone is psychic. Everyone can sense your intentions behind the words. They can sense what you really, really mean energetically. So your soul decided to come into this experience. It's an interactive experience here. You might even think of life as a video game. And it's so much, there's so much similarity there to life being a video game. And your soul decided to come here. You as a soul is you as a collective also. We're all the same. So you came down here to experience yourself as a soul. When you agreed to come into these bodies, you agreed to experience yourself as a soul in this denser reality. You came to experience yourself also as the collective. So there's no separation there. And we all carry different missions as far as what we are meant to do here, what we are meant to create here, what we're meant to overcome, what we're meant to heal through, right? So we all carry these different missions, but the main bottom line behind all of that is that the mission is planetary energies and ascension. So, whatever your personal mission is, maybe you were put on this planet to help other people heal. That's not just because you love helping people heal. There's a greater vibrational reason for the collective of why you are a healer. Or let's think about anything that someone does, even if someone is a park maintenance person, there's a higher collective benefit from them being serving that purpose and that role. So you are a participant of all of this collective game that's happening within this globe, right? You are a part of that. You are a participant of that, and there's always going to be energies of other participants in that that doesn't resonate with you. That's okay. We're not meant to match and meld with every single person in the world. There's different frequencies and they're all coming at you at once. We live in an environment of risk and we also have free will. So if I were to go too far beyond what was good for the collective, there would be something energetically to stop that from happening because that greater force is what is running everything in life. And you have the free will to choose, but when you go too far beyond what's good for the collective, you begin creating disharmony in that collective consciousness. If you think about cancer, that's a cell that is going too far. We're all cells inside of the universe's body. We're all a little piece in there. So that's what causes that condition. Vibrational shifts, your growth and other people's growth is not the same thing. You came here to learn different lessons than your neighbor came here to learn, or your partner came here to learn, or your friends came here to learn. We might interact with each other along that path of living out this existence here, but we all came here for on different wavelengths for different purposes. And it's very possible that someone else's energy is not compatible with your energy. Think about this. If you were at a job and one of your coworkers, you were working with them, you felt really good about how they treated you, you really liked them, but then they got promoted to manager and now you don't like them so much. Now it feels like they have a different agenda, and that's because that power went to their head. And that's it. If that power went to one's head, then they're no longer on that same wavelength or that same frequency as you. That's a mismatch. So that's going to cause combustion, resistance, all of that. And the same goes if you start doing a ton of healing work, some people's frequencies are not going to meld with you anymore and it's not because you're better than them or vice versa. It's more that you guys are playing on different wavelengths. It's like you're at 96.1 FM and they're at 107.9 FM, right? So it's always going to be like that. And as you grow, some people are going to meet you at that level and rise to the occasion, and some are not. So the important thing becomes at that point you staying strong in your vibration. That's what you are responsible for. You're responsible for your vibration, your contributions, and your reactions to that collective, right? So everything is mirrored back to you as a reflection of you. Everything. Look around the room you're in right now. Everything around you is a reflection of you, of your soul. your higher soul that was guiding you. So everything is mirrored back to you is a reflection of you. Now, oftentimes when I tell people this, they say, well, what about my friend got raped? She didn't deserve that. And I would agree, absolutely not. And she didn't attract that. We don't always attract what we're pinging out, but the majority of the time, absolutely. But since we are in this environment of risk, we knew that coming in. Our soul, when it was about to incarnate in this body, it knew that there would be this environment down here. There would be all of these different frequencies coming at you. There would be people that wanted to harm you. There's so much that is random about this incarnation. So no, that's not someone's fault. That's something that does happen. There are those times when you could be the best person in the world and be so solid in that energy that you're putting out, and you could still be a victim of something in this environment of risk. So, not everything that you do is a deliberate attraction. Sometimes there are those risk events, as best way I could put it. So, hopefully, that makes sense about that. Now, we might actually become allergic to an environment. We might become allergic to someone else's energy. And we might be allergic to all sorts of things in this universe. But it's literally a vibrational allergy. I remember when I used to work at a medical billing at a failing radiology practice, I was vibrationally allergic to that environment. Every day I would just be so upset when I woke up in the morning and I knew that I was going to have to go there and not fully express myself and hide who I was to appease what I was supposed to be like as a professional. And also the people there, and I was treated really bad, and that was all. I attracted it. In that case, I attracted that from fear because I was afraid, oh, I'm not going to be able to really make my healing business work. At the time, that's what I truly believed. I truly believed that there was not enough for me if I didn't work at a job, that the universe was not going to take care of me if I wasn't at a job. So fear is what attracted that. And that reflection was a representation of that attraction and those old programs of fear that were inside. So your universe is notifying you that certain things are not a good vibrational match. And the universe notifies you of this stuff through what humans would call negative emotion. And that's leading us. But it's easy to miss the message in it and just keep adding more resistance. But do know that that is directly affecting your reflections in this reality. So just because someone else doesn't meld with you vibrationally, like my coworkers at that job, a lot of them didn't meld with me vibrationally. And that doesn't mean that they're a bad person because they didn't meld with me energetically. It just means that I'm at a certain frequency and they're at another frequency, and those frequencies do not mix. So that's really helpful information because you can take that knowledge of your guidance system showing you, hey, this isn't really the best thing for you to be doing. And instead of making that other person wrong or making the situation wrong, you can use that energy and that guidance to find the lesson that's in there for you. So, there's just certain things that don't go together. Pickles don't go with chocolate cake conventionally. Maybe there's cases that that would work out, but most of the time those aren't a good combination. Or maybe a plaid shirt wouldn't be a great combination with striped pants, and maybe it would be also. But my point here is that it's not about a right or a wrong or a good or a bad. It's more just this is the vibration and this is the vibration, and they don't meld, right? So that's okay. Um, but the frequency that you're putting out is going to come back to you in physicality. Absolutely 100%. The frequency that you are radiating from your energy field right at this moment, that is going to come back to you in physical form. There's no way around that. That's how our reality works here. What our power is in is how we respond. That's always where our power lays. Um, we can't control other people in this environment here. All we can control is our response to those other people. And our response is going to be in a certain vibration that's going to bring those things in. So it's not necessarily the little individual events that happen in life. It's more about what is that overall frequency that you're putting out day in and day out, and what's going to come back to you. But remember that your soul did choose to be here. All of our souls chose to be here in these bodies for a certain purpose to experience. Um, and so you might be saying, well, okay, I chose to be here in this experience. So why am I not where I want to be yet? Why am I not um achieving that goal yet? Why is this not happening? It's not happening fast enough. And from a higher perspective, your guides would just tell you that you're exactly where you're meant to be, that, oh, yeah, you're still growing. You came into, the guides are looking down on you. Well, they're not looking down on you, but your guides are watching over you in a way that they know you're here still learning, and they don't want to get in the middle of your learning and all of those things that you really need to experience. And they're not going to let you bypass and miss those lessons. And it's our resistance as humans that make us miss the whole picture. We're constantly just fixated, right? And every time that you fixate on things being a certain way, you're missing the point. You're fixating on one thing and you're ignoring all of the light that's coming into you from all of these different perspectives. And you're basically ignoring all of that light and that love that's available to you to fixate on one thing. And I can guarantee you, if you're fixating on one thing, there's a lesson you need to learn. And once you learn it, that's what's going to let all the rest of that light into where you can see it into when things are going to start happening for you. But as long as you're still fixated, you're missing the point. You're like a horse with blinders on and you can't see anything around you. You're just fixated, right? So the fact that you're not where you want to be yet, the fact that that's still an unattainable state for you just shows the degree to which you are trying to manipulate reality. The secret of life is non-resistance. So if you are putting up resistance to everything in your life, just it's not okay with you, it's not good enough, that's the frequency the universe hears. The universe doesn't even hear what you want that's up here. All it can hear is that vibrational frequency and that energy. The universe works in energy. The subconscious mind works in pictures. So you're seeing these pictures of failure for yourself, and that's inducing this really dense, heavy energy, and that's what you're radiating to the universe. I can't say it more clearly than that. So the universe is always going to do what's the best thing to do for the collective. We're one little piece of the collective. The universe is all of our energy, the collective is all of our energies combined. So the universe, you better believe, is going to go with what helps expand the collective more. And sometimes what expands the collective more is not that thing that you just have to make happen, that thing that you are fixating on. Sometimes what is best for the collective is you learning the lessons that you're ignoring. So if you stay in this vibration, the universe is not going to give you what you want. It's going to give you what you need right here. And that's just how it works. And so that's a good guide for you to really look at your behaviors and how is that serving the bigger picture. And maybe you're in a situation at home. So how is this how are your vibrations and your energy affecting that family collective? And then go even bigger. How is that your energy affecting the community that you live in? How is that? And it keeps rippling out. That's how the universe works. All of these ripples. That's what you are here to do, is to add expansion to those ripples. And if you are sitting there fixating because one thing is not right in your life, then you are not expanding the collective. You're hurting the collective. So the universe is going to keep you in place or pile more stuff on you because you need to learn those lessons. And the universe has so much time because the time doesn't exist to the universe. So the universe has all day. To us, we're here for so long, but to the universe, this is a blip in time. Our entire life existence in these bodies is a tiny sliver for the universal divine mind. So keep that in mind. Look at where you can be a bigger asset to the collective. How can you help expand the collective? You're going to get everything you need in that process, and it's going to be even better than you could have imagined. But that has to be the space you're coming from. So the universe says, okay, you want this, you want your business to be successful, you want to get this promotion, you want to get this relationship fixed, blah, 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 whatever it is that it is for you. But the universe and your guides remember that you're here on this mission that all of us share. So it's not going to let you do your own selfish things because you can't change the fact that you're part of this bigger collective, right? So, what would best serve the collective? Always the thing to remember. So, think of someone who has a dream and they have this dream of becoming a movie star, for example, but they don't have the knowledge and training that they really need to be this star actor, right? And the worst thing we could do is tell them, you're never going to be that. You're never going to amount to that. Because that's not true. As long as someone genuinely wants something deep down in their heart and their soul, it will manifest. Maybe not in this lifetime, but it absolutely will manifest if that is a true, genuine intention for that. It can't, though, if it's for another reason. If it's you want to be a movie star because your sister's a movie star, or you want to be a movie star to impress your dad or your mom. It has to come from that pure space of inspiration and pure positive energy, but it will manifest. Maybe there's many more steps and many more lessons, maybe even many more lives before that manifests into physicality. But the point is, it will. as long as that vibration is held that is coming from that very genuine, divine, creative space. So if you are thinking, I am such a brilliant person, why is this not happening for me yet? And I have a lot of clients that are like that. They will, and I agree, they're amazing people, but I see the energetics behind it. And I try to help people understand that there are energetics behind all of this. And that's another thing about humans. We are so entitled, aren't we, as a species? It's like, we think that we're entitled to things just because we're awesome or just because we spent a lot of time on it. But at the end of the day, remember, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with our collective's expansion and growth and well-being. If it's not linked in that way, there's not going to be anything for the universe to work with. So I want you to remember that you are a very, very special soul, that you have your own unique harmonic signature that no one else has. You came here to do what no one else was here to do. You're here to experience that at a soul level and to share with the collective and to be of service of the collective consciousness. We came here to have experiences. We came here to know what it was like to be in this environment of denser energy. We came here to experience the things that we love, the things that make you you. We came here to experience delicious tea. We came here to experience the delicious flavors of chewing gum, of candy, of all of the different textures of vegetables, all of the different sensations of how it feels when our body is moving on earth, when we're walking. We came here to experience having cars, traveling in the air. Everything that's here is here as an experience that's available to us. We came into these bodies, maybe you came into this body to know what it was like to be a man, what it was like to be a woman, what it was like to be a person, what it was like to be a non-binary person, right? All of these things that we experience in life are all because our soul wanted to experience it. And we came to experience all of that density, all of that, the differences and uniqueness of things. But we came here to enjoy life and to have these experiences. And we came to have the whole range of experiences. We came here for the sorrow, for the anger, for the joy, for the bliss. Our human container is big enough to hold all of that. Absolutely. That's why we're here. And this experience that we are having here is an experience that can only be experienced here. An experience that can only be experienced in duality. And that's what I want people to understand, is that we get to have this experience. We were gifted this experience. And to our souls, it's not a big deal, all of the things that you're stressing over. To our souls, it's not taking forever, it's taking the time that it needs to take for you. And the universe, like I said before, is not in a rush. The universe will always give you what you want eventually, but it will always give you what you need now first. And it all comes down to you and what you have gathered here in this experience. Think about everything you've ever learned since the time you were a tiny little baby. And think about how much your soul has expanded out since you were a little baby. And know that the reason you experienced all of this stuff, the reason you learned all of this stuff, was because you were meant to help expand the collective. You were meant to use your divine wisdom, your divine talents, and your own unique divine gifts. Bottom line. And it all comes down to the lessons that your soul came here to learn in this life. So, why can't the universe just give you what you want and get the point already, right? And I'll tell you why. Because let's take that movie star example. And this movie, let's say that you wanted to be a movie star and you woke up the next morning, you were the movie star. You would have missed out on all of those lessons because maybe you needed to learn all of these different things to be that on a deeper level. So if you just became instantly a movie star, you would not have the richness of this life experience and the richness of this expansion. And that's what, when you really start gaining momentum and power in life, is when you understand that and you don't fight the lessons. You embrace and love yourself through the lessons. And you know that this was part of the experience you signed up for. Combustion helps our planet ascend up into 5D consciousness. 5D consciousness is love energy. 3D, 4D, that's all locked in fear, in those lower vibrations. So the 5D new earth is fed by combustion, because the combustion and the contrast must happen for the expansion to happen. That's right. You know, think about when someone passes away It's really, really a lot of emotion. But, I was watching a program the other night on TV, and this lady had started a foundation for her daughter who had passed away. So that's an example here of that person passed away, but they're still expanding. Their death expanded the consciousness for the collective. And maybe there's a time when that death was exactly what was meant to happen. What we can actually experience here in this reality in 3D is about a 0.5% of the visible light spectrum. So there is so much going on at play beyond what our limited human can understand. But we can know that we have an opportunity and we have a choice and we have a guidance system. Our guidance system is our emotions. If we're feeling aligned and we're feeling that sense of peace, we know we're on the right path. If we're feeling aligned, if we're feeling like things are falling into place and everything is working in a flow state, we know we're connected. So let that be your guide. If you're feeling resistance, there's work for you to do. There's parts of those old programs that you need to remove that's covering up your highest vibration crystalline grid, which is your higher self fully actualized. So combustion helps expansion. Combustion helps expansion. So how does this work? So let's take an example. If you walk into a room and two people are talking bad about a mutual friend of yours, they're just throwing this person under the bus, acting like this person is a POS, whatever. You have a choice in that moment. And your choice is you can do it the old way, which is agree with them, talk shit about that person, or you can create combustion because this is the safe way. That's the safe way. And there's no growth there. Those programs of talking shit about people has already been said 1.5 million times. Over here is the combustion choice, and that would be for you to stand up for that person. But more so than standing up for that person, it's standing up for that new vibrational frequency of your higher self version. So if your higher self version feels an aversion to them talking bad about this other person, what you need to do is speak your truth. And it doesn't have to make someone else wrong or anything like that. You can simply say, I don't feel comfortable talking about this person this way. And that's going to create combustion in the situation. And not only is it going to put you higher up, it's also going to make that person question the way that they've done things. Maybe they've been talking about people for a long time, they've been getting away with it, nothing's happened, so nothing has caused combustion for them to think that there might even be a different way. But what you're doing here is you're shining the light of consciousness on that, and then there's growth. That person might even rise up to the occasion and say, you know what, you're right, I'm not going to do that anymore. That doesn't feel good. Or they might not, they might be refuse to rise up and they go talk about you to their friends. But then maybe one of their friends says, well, why were you talking about that person that way? And that's how the ripple works, right? That's in everything you do. That ripple is in everything you do. Period. End of story. There is a ripple behind everything. So you can't be one person to your friends and one person in reality. You have to be that authentic person. That has to be your goal, is to stand in your authenticity, or else you're going to keep getting more of the same. All of these old programs that are not serving you. So that makes it to where we have to be vigilant all the time, don't we? We have to be vigilant about us being aligned with our higher self and speaking our truth. If we're not, we're just going to keep accepting these old programs. And something in your field is always attracting those programs. So really look at that in your physicality. All of these people acting all of these ways, there's something in you that's attracting that. There truly is. And it's not to shame you, because this is not about shame. This is about loving yourself and looking at the behavior so you can make a different choice next time. And you need to stand up for your truth. So your vibrational atmosphere inside is your dominant vibrations that you feel most of the time. And so think about where you're sitting vibrationally most of the time. Are you in those old fear programs, but then you're expecting something that only comes from 5D love programs, right? And there's always going to be tons and tons of thoughts that attach onto that energy. So we're never really upset for the reason that we think we are, because there's a deeper energetic atmosphere there. And it's already inside of you. So the goal with healing work is we want to clear away all of that stuff that's covering your divine higher self, everything that's contaminating your field, so you can have that pure expression of you, and that you will attract everything in the universe that is perfect for you. And your guides always want you to speak your truth. Your guides are always guiding you to speak your truth. All of those emotions that you feel inside are guiding you to speak your truth. And if you don't speak your truth, you'll perpetuate your cycles. If you don't speak your truth, you will perpetuate your cycles. And I'll say that one more time. If you don't speak your truth, you will perpetuate your cycles. So those programs, they love to try to seep back in. And it's our job as beings, if we want to live out our highest health, wealth, and self expression, we have to speak our truth and we have to stay aware of those programs that could try to come in and reinstall. And when you're not even able to see the programs, um, when you have limiting beliefs, but you're not even able to see the limiting beliefs, that's because you have so many old programs that need to be cleared. And they're just running rampant. And those programs, of course, if you can't see that you have all these programs going on, that's proof that there's a lot to work on. And that's okay. That's why you're here. That's why you're watching this video, is because you really want to expand beyond that. So we can get to a point in our healing work where we've cleared all of those old programs that were keeping us from being our best and being our true divine self. But just because you cleared all of those, now all of those are usually attached to an energy pattern. And maybe that energy pattern's gone, so there's not all these thoughts that can continue attaching and attaching, but you're not exempt from ever having to deal with them again if you keep taking these old programs back by not speaking your truth. So you could do all the healing work in the world, but if you walk out the door and you're not in your truth, in your center, then you're going to take back all of those old programs again over time. And let me give you an example of this. Let's say that, um, let's use that example I used earlier with you walk into a room and all of these people are talking bad about other people. Well, let's say that that used to be the way you did things. You would be willing to throw someone under the bus to talk about them to be accepted by that person that was right in front of you. So let's say that you did a lot of healing work on yourself. You went out of your way to really, really heal, and you got rid of all these old programs, but then you go back into that environment and you don't speak your truth. Guess what you just did? You took back all those programs. You took back all of those energy patterns that are associated with that programming. So by you not fully speaking your truth and having that one moment of unconsciousness, you let in all of that programming. That program is now able to infect your energy field again. So, do you understand now why it is so important to truly, truly live your higher self intentions out? Do you see why it's so important to align your energy and to work on yourself and to work on your energy. Do you see why your energy is your biggest asset? And I hope you do. I really do. Because this is life. There's a lot of different things going on. And if we're not intentional and we're just kind of going around all over the place and running into people, well, that's not going to cut it. We're not going to become what our higher self wants us to be. There's so many things in this universe that our higher self wants us to do. And our higher self is so far expanded, they don't want you focusing on that one fixated thing. They want you to learn the lesson and they want you to integrate it and then be of service in your own beautiful, unique way. So we have to stay aware. Absolutely 100%. We have to stay aware if we want to live in the highest frequency possible. There's always going to be something outside of you that activates you. Always. That's how this universe is. That's how our vibrational atmosphere is. Everyone else is you. You are everyone else. And your unique intuition is you picking up on other aspects of you in other people. And I think that's absolutely something to remember always. We're all in this thing together. We are all a part of one whole. You are me. I am you. We are one. All is well. And the higher your frequency goes, the more healing work you do, the more these old programs that you clear, the more knowledge is divinely available to you. It's beautiful when if you can just get there to that place where you are so aligned and your frequency is high and you've cleared all of these programs, you'll get it. I know you will. And the other piece to that is as your frequency raises, the more intentionality that is inside of your energy field. And your intention is programmed by you. You're the one who programs your attention, your intentions behind what you do. And your intention is between you and the universe. It's not between you and the other person. It's between you and God, you and the universe, right? And I want you to know also the other piece that comes with that power, that divine power, is that you can use everything you do to help this expansion process. I can program intention into this tea. And I can program the intention that this is going to help me expand, and it will. Or you could ask someone else who doesn't believe in anything spiritual, doesn't really have that insight, and they're going to tell you you can't program that T. But what I want you to know is both of those are correct based on the vibrational level you're at. And your intention is the most powerful thing. Your intention connects you with your higher self, with your guides. Your intention creates energetic flow. Your intention puts consciousness on things so they can heal. That's in your power. As an individual, it's true. You do create your reality. Absolutely. You create your reality by how you respond to the manifestations that are here. And I want you to know that you can never, ever control another person's actions, another person's healing or growth. The only thing you have power to change is your reaction. And the lesson is there in what you need to learn in you to learn the lesson and move forward. And we have to know that through radiating our true light and energy, we're always going to get what we need. That's the way this universe is. We came into these bodies knowing that we had these guidance systems and that guidance was going to take us to where our soul needed to go. And you might see what you want happening in your life. You might see yourself achieving those goals that you always knew you could. You might see yourself moving into the dream house. You may experience all of that if you're able to let go of what's in front of it. All of those old programs. And I want you to think about also your place when it comes to other people's path. If you know, let's say that you walked by a group of kids and they were doing something you didn't like, and you believed that they were horrible little kids. That's not a limiting belief for them. It's a limiting belief for you. If you're complaining because your neighbor is doing something while you're trying to eat lunch on the patio, it's not a limiting belief for them. It's a limiting belief for you. Is that starting to make sense, I hope? So the other piece to this is you still have to be a human. Even though we are connecting with those higher aspects of us, even though we are bringing down those ideas from the higher realms and making them happen in this physicality, even though, even though we still have to be that 3D human sometimes. Sometimes we do need to set aside our spiritual self to do a 3D thing. I could meditate all day, but if I go out there and I'm talking to someone that maybe it's a prospective client, maybe it's a friend, and I am too much in that spiritual realm, then I'm ignoring what's right in front of me. So there's balance, there's nuances to all of this stuff. And we have to do some things that are 3D on our way. And sometimes we have to put that higher spiritual self aside so we can complete those 3D things. But never forget who you are. And never forget that life comes down to service. How are you of service to the bigger whole? And you're not being of service to the bigger whole by co-signing people's bullshit to keep the peace. You're not being of service by co-signing victim mentality. So if someone tries to project that victim mentality onto you and wants you to accept that victim mentality, tell them I will not even let that in. Because by letting that in, you're soiling your field and your truth. And you're doing them a bigger favor by shining the light of consciousness on their victim mentality, because that's what's going to help them grow. That's what's going to help the collective grow. And anything less is going to be feeding those old programs. So I want you to really pay attention to your interactions, your environment, your inner environment, and create combustion if it's not part of your truth. Harmonize with your truth. Your feeling of peace, your feeling of love is what is going to lead you and guide you. Those feelings of density are showing you where there's work to be done. And I'd like you to really think about everyone that you share your precious wisdom, talents, and gifts with. And be discerning. Because if you are forcing these gifts onto people that don't want them, you're not helping. You're just forcing that on them. And that's not helping the collective grow. So in everything you do, are you serving expansion, compassion, and wisdom? And I'd like you to know also throughout your own healing process, there's never going to be a solid, easy answer for anything. There's many parts to everything. There's many factors that are the reason you're in the situation you're in now. And there's many factors that are going to transform that energy and put you in the place you want to be. That power is in you and how you react to life. So The question now, what is it that you need to be addressing in you? What are those programs? What are all of those layers that you need to transcend? Because once you transcend all of those layers, you're taken into your natural, beautiful state of radiance. That's who you are as a soul. And you're taken into this state of acceptance and gratitude for where you are. And things do happen for you. Life is good. And the energies of the cosmos continue to expand. And if you're not manifesting what you want in your life, you're exactly where you need to be to learn the lessons of what's in between you and what you know you can create. And you can. Absolutely. And I think the biggest thing, the biggest gift is to come into the present moment with the quality of gratitude. Always, always be grateful for everything that is going good in your life, everything that is a blessing and is a gift, and it will grow. So I hope this really was a good talk for you, and it did go a little bit longer than I had planned, but that was all divinely in my own flow. So I hope you all have a blessed rest of your day, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos of this nature, and visit me at DGTWellness.com to set up a consult, sessions, or join my programs to learn how to become an energy healer.